to our guest speaker, T-Million executive and $1 Million Circle member, Mr. Willie.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is exciting. You know, this is really an eye-opener. I'm really privileged. I'm very blessed to be here today, and I want to thank the whole team, Sandy and Synergy System and his teams, really to invite me here. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. Okay, so, wow. I was very touched by the sharings just now, and even though you said one word, 2 words, or even you said a paragraph, as long as you took steps up the stage, you inspired me. Okay? And thank you. It takes tremendous amount of courage to sometimes take the stage, is that right? It does, because that's all about leadership today. So I saw a lot of leaders today as I walked by and talked to you guys, had some time, spent some time with you guys, and I felt a tremendous amount of determination and passion to succeed in this business, and allow me to share a bit about my experience, some things that I hold dear, things that have made me turning points in my life, and why I did the things I did, and of course the results I have achieved. You know, I'll share a little bit about how that is done. You think that will help you? Yeah, that was a fantastic talk by Jerome just now. Can you give Jerome a round of applause just now? Because I learned a lot of things from him as well, and I thought it was absolutely right. Exactly what he said was really things that I always thought about wanting to do myself, and looking at explaining it in that systematic way. And that's exactly, I'm very glad that 12 years ago, somebody gave me a call and invited me to a talk to listen to a presentation. And so, because what he said there, the formula really is true, Not because of me, it's happened to thousands of people before me. And that's why it's a proven formula of success. Okay? That's me, that's my wife and me today. Today I'm going to share a couple of things. But first of all, I want to share a story. Would you like to hear a story? Okay, I hear a story. So, okay. Okay, that's the story. Okay. Now, how many of you like to go to a zoo? Yeah. So not a lot of people, huh? Okay, so there's one day this kid, you know, he's young and he wants to go to a zoo. Okay? So of course his father will take him to a zoo. Okay? And in the zoo he sees many animals, and of course he sees a bear. He sees a bear. Of course, the bear is sitting down, and is he laughing? No, it's crying. So why is the bear crying? So the little boy asks the dad, he says, "Dad, why is the bear crying?" The dad says, "Well, that's easy. Because the bear is, you know, is sitting on a nail. Sitting on a nail, okay? And the kid says, "Oh, really? That's easy. Why don't he just stand up? Stand up." And the dad says, "Well, it's not that easy. You see, the nail is, it hurts enough to make the bear cry, but it doesn't hurt enough to make the bear stand up." I heard that story many years ago, and I realized that story really was meant about me. Don't we all have nails in our life? And you know, I don't know about you, I have plenty of nails in my life. Sometimes we're very proud of our nails. Sometimes we compare with other people which nail is bigger. For example, I used to work in Motorola, and would say that I work in Motorola, I work very hard, and last night I worked until 9 o'clock. And my colleague would tell me, 9 o'clock? I was there till 10 o'clock. Some people would even use nails as their, you know, health conditions. "Oh, I have cholesterol." What? Cholesterol only? I have high blood pressure too. You know, so we end up comparing each other's nails, you know. Do you do that too? Now, I'm talking here because I started started my life, you know, when I met my wife. Yeah. So that's my wife Casey, and this is right after high school when my first time going to Australia overseas to study. Now she wasn't really my girlfriend at that time. As you can see, I'm standing quite close to her, but not yet close enough. So that the picture at least looks like we're together, isn't it? But anyway, we were told certain things, you know. For example, study hard. Is that true? Yes. How many of you study hard? How many of you study too hard? Okay. How many of you have to study hard but said you have to work hard? How many of you work too hard? No, not hard enough. And after studying hard, working hard, I also knew that you probably have to retire at 60. Is that about the age here that retires at 60? Yes. And how many of you are looking forward to retire at 60? Because you guys are teenagers? You know, this is good. So that was really the model, the success formula that was given to me a long time ago. Not because my dad didn't know anything like that, because that was the formula that it was given to him as well. Is that right? Yes. And that's the formula. It's all over the world. It's a global formula of retirement. Now I would call that global formula of success. But it depends. So I grew up listening to this, studying hard, working hard, and of course got married, right? And had a little this little thing, you know, this baby, JD. You know, when she came out, things was different because when it was just me and my wife, it was like, let's watch a movie, let's go. But when you have a baby, let's watch a movie, you say, well, who's going to babysit, isn't it? So things like that kind of happen, and we're real blessed because our parents are healthy and they're able to take care of the kids. So we're very, very glad and very blessed about that. But then again, we started to work hard, and I had a great job. You know, I was working for Motorola. I had a promotion every 2 years, and I had a great boss. Really, the boss was great. When I say great boss, it really is. I mean, there was no micromanaging. It was really whatever you wanted to do it. And of course, I didn't abuse that, so I really did my work, and I was working really hard. And great, strong multinational company at that time. At that time. This is the Motorola watch, by the way. So. And we had great income. It was good. It was good income for my level. And my wife, she's a chemical engineer. I'm a mechanical engineer. I was an engineering manager when I left Motorola, but we had great income. But you know what? We didn't know things like no time, no choice, and freedom because we thought that that was the way it is. That was the way it is. Because remember, study hard to work hard, and retire at 16. That was the moment. We didn't realize that there was a thing called choice, or there was a thing called freedom. Until I came to a presentation 12 years ago. The presentation was, you know, nothing like this, nothing like this. It was like maybe the storeroom of this place. It was that small, and there was only 5 guests in that presentation. Me, my wife, my daughter, and my in-laws. There's 5 people in that presentation, and they said it was a global billion-dollar business. Okay? But I didn't really want to go because I knew it was network marketing, and I know there was new skin. I didn't want to go because I was a professional, and that was one of the things, you know, I'm a professional, and we're trying to compare how professional we are, but that was. And I didn't want to attend, but I had no choice because I love my wife very much. It was my wife's sister-in-law who introduced her, so I'm very thankful for her. But she said, come and give face and, you know, at least listen to me talk. And she did talk for 2 minutes. She spoke for 2 minutes! And I came and I felt a bit, you know, out of place because, you know, this wasn't my thing. It wasn't my cup of tea. It was an MLM. It was network marketing. And I was a professional. And I made a lot of money, yeah, and I didn't need to do this. But in that presentation, a couple of things dawned on me that opened my eyes. So, a couple of things, you see what's happening. Okay, so I saw this and I said, hey, that's really how I feel. You know, when you're young, you have time, you don't have money, and you have energy, yeah? Do you guys feel that way? Yeah, and when you're an adult, you know, you have money and your energy. Is that true, your energy? But you don't have a lot of time to spend it with it. Looking forward, I look forward, how do I look forward? I cannot predict my future because I'm never there yet. But I can see my future from my supervisor's life. Does that make sense? It's very easy to predict what's going to happen to you just by looking at your supervisor, isn't it? Because if you work hard enough, long enough, will you be able to take that position? Yes, and the question I had was, do I admire my supervisor's life? I didn't. So I looked upstream and said, do I admire his boss's life? No. How about the one above? No. So I was thinking to myself, if I don't admire anybody up in that company, then why am I there? Why am I there? Why am I there? Why did I spend 10 years working for a company when I realized that that's not where I want to go? You guys feel that way sometimes? You know? And it's like, am I going to for the rest of my life be an engineer? Is this all I will ever be? Is there nothing more than that? Sometimes I feel that way. Sometimes I look and say, you know what? I look at my pay, nothing that I complain about my pay, but I look at my pay and I never say this, wow, you pay me too much. You know, but I feel that I deserve more. Do you deserve more? Yes. I mean, some of you have work, some of you do, and you look at that and say, hey, no, I deserve more. I'm not greedy, but I think I deserve more. The effort I put in. So that's one of the things, and I sort of felt a bit trapped in this. Why? Because I looked at my leaders above me, not you kids, but the leaders above me, the people who were my supervisors, and I looked at them, and at that point, they really had nowhere out. They had no options. And I was so afraid that when I get there, I won't have options myself. I'm afraid that when I get there, I won't have the courage to do the things I can do now. Because when you're now, you can do anything, but when you're there, you're so concerned that if you do something wrong, you get fired. And you can't get your job back again. And that's a predicament 40 years old people are feeling at this point in time. So I'm saying, I don't like that feeling. I got to do something different. That was the things that I was feeling in my life. You know, and one of the things that opened my eyes was, I felt that this industry wasn't professional. I didn't like to be forced. I didn't like to be hounded. I didn't want to be forced to buy something. I didn't like those things I heard. But my sponsor, which was my upline, said, Willing, do you know that the average industry of network marketing, 35% of the people who do it are professionals? So I said, what's wrong with them? You know? I mean, I can calculate, I can see, and I know, I'm pretty good at looking at things and say that, you know, it's real or not real, and over-exaggerated, you know, because, you know. But he says now today, that number is now 65% professionals. So now I'm kind of worried, I was like, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing? So really network marketing is change. It really is the next big thing. It really is something that is totally different. It really is a time where we together, working together, can change the whole industry. Why? Exactly what Daniel said today, and also Jerome said today. We can offer people better lives. We can offer people better quality life, not just for one generation, for next generation and beyond. Because I realize that no matter how hard I work for Motorola, great company by the way, I realize that that's only for this generation. But I realize if I work hard for this company, NewSkin, I'm working hard for the next generation. I will put my time in that. Would you? Yes. So that's what I saw. But along the way, another nail was that if I went out to talk to people, would like, it's network marketing, they would run away from this thing because they have all these perceptions of this. And I understood that. So one of my first things I had to accept the fact was that 99 or 98 or 95% of the population would not accept MLM because they didn't understand it. They didn't come to this. They didn't listen to Joe. They didn't listen to Daniel. They weren't here. They missed the message. But I know that the number one problem in the world today is this. Money is not enough. Does it make sense? And I know that 98% of the population would say yes to an opportunity. The only question is, how do we have them take a look at this opportunity? Okay? So that's one of the things that I realized. I said that if 99% of the population want an opportunity, here lies an opportunity, all we need to do is leverage a system. You have a fantastic system here, Synergy. To leverage the system to bring more awareness and education to people and show them with this platform that they can achieve success too. Would you like that? Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. And I realized that it's just not happening to Malaysia, it's happening all over the world. You know, things are getting expensive. Loans are not just for one generation, they're for 2 generations now. And if you're not careful, you don't even know how inflation will hit you. And a lot of times you're having a family and costs are rising. And then you take out expenses and savings and what you have left. That's the fear I felt. I want to be 40 and trapped. I don't want to be 40 and feel I have no choice. Do you? Absolutely not. And that's why it makes sense. Okay? I'm so glad that at 32, I decided to do something different. At 32, I joined music. My first goal wasn't that hard, it wasn't $1 million. My first goal was actually very simple. But let me tell you about my first goal later. But a lot of people still tell me that this is hard work. How many of you like hard work? Yeah, a lot of people say it's hard work. But you know what? I asked them, you know, I'd rather work hard now than have to work harder when I'm 60. Because at 60, you don't have the energy anymore. Or the courage to do the things you need to do. So I'd rather work hard now. Some people tell me, yeah, but still it's hard work. I say, you know, I'd rather do hard work now because at 60, I want to be asking my children for money. Because I think that's harder to do. Does that make sense? So I say to myself, you know, fear of this hard work is only temporary, but if I didn't do it, that regret will last me a lifetime. So I don't want to regret. Do you want to regret? Absolutely not. Okay? So these are the things that was causing me to say, what's stopping me from taking action in this industry? So once I understood these fundamentals, I realized that there's really nothing stopping us. Instead of what is not stopping us, what is really want is what dream you have that is driving you forward. That's what it is. Do you have a dream? How many of you have a dream? And the question really is how many of you shared your dream with someone else? Really, this business is about driven by dreams. How big is your dream? So I decided that I know I cannot become what I want to be by remaining where or what I am. Is that right? So I had to move. I had to stand up because I'm sick and tired of becoming a bear that cries. Gotta stand up. Gotta stand up. Because if I don't stand up, I won't have the things I want. And a lot of people want different things. Different things. These are some of the 8 reasons why people would want extra income. Is that important? Financial freedom, is that important? Yes. You know, having your own business, having more time to spend it with. Sometimes we're working, there's no time. And then personal development, I think that's really important. I realize that personal development is one of the key things I received from this business. That working for Motorola for 13 years, I never really got the leadership skills working for a company, a multinational company that I got doing music in 4.5 years. If you want leadership, find a place that challenges you. Find a place that there are no limits to how much you make. Because if there's a limit to how much you make, you're not going to work harder. You're not going to challenge yourself and lead that. You know, my first goal was simple. That's my wife, that's my daughter. And my wife just wanted to be, you know, just like everybody else, a mother. And in Malaysia, you know, previously when my father was working, it was my father who worked and my mother was a housewife. Then when we worked, it was both of us working, isn't it? It's rare to see, you know, just one person work. Both have to work, isn't it, right now? And sometimes, so my wife was saying, well, she just, you know, and I didn't want her to work, I wanted to be a mother, okay? And so Nu Skin was able to provide that. So about a year that my wife didn't want to do this business, it was me. I told her, you know what, in 2 years' time, you don't have to work anymore. And it was a year and a half, we get about, I can't remember, 8,000 ringgit. Lapis, was that? Lapis. It was Lapis, exactly, Lapis. And she was able to quit her job via her boss. I made significantly a bit more than her, so about 2.5 years later, I was able to free myself as well. And to go full-time in this business. You know? So a lot of people say, wow, I made 13 years working for Motorola, my salary was equal to me doing Nu Skin part-time for 4.5 years. Imagine squeezing 13 years into 4.5 years. So, you know, I did what most people did, and one of the things that was very important was the tools that this company provides. And one of the most important tools that we have is a program called TRA at that time, 2009 when we first started. And that's a blessing because this package was able to really transform the way that we do business. I went on a program not because I was overweight, I went on a program because, you know, my wife didn't complain either. I just went on the program because I wanted to see how it worked and to show by example that it could transform. How many of you want 6-packs? I mean, really 6-packs. I mean, not the ones where you use a marker pen and you draw it. Okay, so 6-packs. Okay, so the goal to have 6-packs is that you need to have your fat percentage below 14%. 14%, your 6-pack will come out. Okay? So that's why I went on the program. So really it was difficult because if I could do this, and even if I was skinny I could do this, I know everybody else could. Does it make sense? No, a lot of people are too skinny to do TR. No, you're not. You can do this. You can do this. Yeah? And the other thing about this business is that as I went along this journey, it felt good that when I did it, I knew that there was a purpose doing it. And that when I did it, I knew I was helping other people not only to succeed, I was saving lives. You see, in Nu Skin, we have a foundation, Southeast Asia Children's House Foundation. It really started from the Philippines because a congenital heart disease kid needed an operation. And since then, we have saved how many? 6,600 children in Southeast Asia, where they can't pay for that. Thank you. And every one of you is part of this, because I know a lot of you are, in fact, all of you are 1% donors, is that right? And that's just a tremendous thing. Last year, Nu Skin appointed me as an ambassador, a board member of Southeast Asia Children's Heart Foundation. So I want to say thank you very much, bottom of the heart, to save these kids. Let's give Nu Skin a round of applause. And this is the CEO you saw his video just now. He's a terribly humble person. I had the privilege to have many times meeting with him, and also had a dinner with him on the Baltic cruise a long time ago, a couple of years ago. And he came out to take pictures with us. And this is a great picture. I love this picture very much because this is one of our team building trips. And if you notice, there's a flag that's flying on Wall Street. You see that flag? The flag is Nu Skin flag. You know, I haven't seen Motorola fly on that wall. And I'm very impressed. And that really tells you that we mean what we say. It's a truly transparent company and gives you tremendous credibility to go out there and share with people that there exists such a beautiful business model. Okay? With examples like this. It's fantastically done. And of course, after working hard for the past, since 2002, serious hard work, we became $1 million supplementers. You know, and thank you, Raj. I show this picture really because I want you to imagine yourself one day walking up the stairs. Can you imagine the hard work that you have achieved, being recognized by your friends, your family members, your parents, the people who maybe once said no and now say yes, and they see you successful. And guess what? You're on stage not because you succeed. You're on stage because you're an example to other people, to lead by example. So one day you will do this too. Okay? So give yourself a round of applause for one day becoming $1 billion. This is when I was recognized in the Utah convention, and this is live. Is really that 200 people being recognized as $1 million supplementers. You know, so it's incredible. It's incredible. You're on a line of millionaires like that just be recognized. Just like it almost looks like being recognized for executive. You know, so the line was so long, there's 200 people for $1 million supplements. I can't remember what number it was, but you know, when you start doing this, you start to qualify to become $1 million supplement. I calculated myself how much I had to work, or how long I had to work in Motorola to make $1 million. It turned out that I had to work in Motorola for 30 years to make $1 million US. And I did it in Nu Skin with TRA with 5 years. Can you imagine squeezing 30 years to 5 years? And the difference is, in Motorola, if I made $1 billion, I'd have to continue working the entire time anyway. So that's a big difference between passive income and active income. So, the Nu Skin is wonderful because Nu Skin offers you not just a platform, but products that keep you young. This is a Korean incentive trip that we went, and of course, as my wife, and it was a K-pop night, so we had to look young. It wasn't too hard because we are young. And those who want to look in the mirror, and now when you look in the mirror, before using Nu Skin, every year you look in the mirror and you say, there's something wrong with the mirror. Can we change the mirror, please? But there's nothing wrong with the mirror. All you need to do is just use Nu Skin, right? And you stay young. Sometimes it's a bit scary because you never grow old. So Nu Skin makes things all possible, And this is my wife. This is in Penang, and last year we had a baby. We had a girl, It's amazing because it's a Nu Skin baby, It's a Nu Skin baby. It's a boy. Thank you. 10 months old. I miss him very much. The difference is between him and my oldest one, not oldest one, good one. It's 15 years. 15 years. So it's a blessing, and I'm very blessed to have that. And I'm very grateful that Nu Skin has kept us healthy to be able to have this thing. Sometimes in this business I face challenges too. I'm a human being, right? And sometimes we have to find reasons to continue. And this is one particular reason for me to continue. This is my inspiration. This is my daughter, and I say to myself, sometimes it might be too late for us to achieve our dreams. It may be. But I'm going to do whatever it takes to make sure that she can achieve her dreams. I think that's important. I think to provide a platform for other people to achieve their dreams is really maybe that's your dream. Your dream is to make other people's dreams possible. So find a reason to be inspired and also show them how to dream big. I think one thing about Nu Skin, it really is, it gives you a platform to learn how to dream big. Would you guys like to learn how to dream big? Yes. Would you want to dream big? Yes. So it really is, because frankly speaking, when I was a modeler, they couldn't, there was no platform to dream big, because I couldn't go to my boss and say, I would like to have time and financial freedom. And he'll look at me and say, I can't show you that because I don't have it too. So, is that the right place to be? Well, the next question is, if I went around telling my colleagues that's what I want, maybe my colleagues will say, well, you know what? Why don't you just keep quiet and do your work? Okay? When he says that, he says, could you stop dreaming? Right? And if you went around telling maybe your parents about that, they'll look at you and say, can you just work hard? Because really, how many people around you teach you how to be financially free? Did your teacher teach you how to be financially free? They taught you to work hard, study hard, follow the traditional model of success. Did your parents teach you how to be financially free? Did their parents teach them how to be financially free? Financially free becomes somewhat of a myth. That when you talk about it, it's like it's just a myth. I don't know anybody that has financial freedom around my life. So when you have this around, nobody believes it and everybody condemns and ridicules it. That's why it's not common. That's why you need to take the lead. That's why you have to inspire others. That's where leadership comes from. That's where taking the first step comes from. That's where you believe that you will change things comes from. So show them how to dream big. Just dreaming big is really, we're on this earth for a little short time. And in that short time, don't waste it dreaming small, isn't it? Yes. You have to dream big. Yes. I'm saying that to you because other platforms I've been in my life didn't allow me to dream big or even approach to use it, to apply it. And only through Nu Skin, this model allowed me to dream big. Okay? So people ask me how much I make. Well, we can't show you this, but we can show you the averages. But sometimes I'll tell them, how much do you think it's worth if your children comes home from work and you're at home? How much is that? How much does that cost to you? Maybe it's priceless. Well, that's what Nu Skin gives us. This ability to make a choice to be at home with your kids, Thank you. And it's amazing because, you know, when sometimes Lisa, when she plays badminton, and the only parent there is just us watching her play badminton. And if I was in Motorola, I would take leave to watch her play badminton. I missed a lot of concerts when my daughter was in kindergarten. I missed a lot of concerts. When I decided to do music full-time, I was in every concert. The principal was like, what happened to you? How come 3 years you're not there? Now 3 years you're every time there. Now, you know, I mean, that's my dream. That's things I want to achieve. And you may have other dreams yourself. But I'm sure we are all messengers, and we can actually use a music model to give this platform to a lot more people as well with dreams similar to this. This is my daughter's old school bus, my car. It's my car, old school bus. And as Philip Jones says, if you visualize things long enough, they come true, isn't it? So when you visualize things long enough, they come true. They come true. When you visualize things long enough, they come true. And it's very important to keep that vision. One time, it was when I was a kid in high school, I saw this car drive by, and I said, you know what, I'm going to have that car one day. And I was trying to look for it, I couldn't find it, it just disappeared. Sometimes dreams just disappear sometimes. You got exams, you can work, but when you hold that thought again, it comes true again. Changed my car recently, and this is my daughter's new school bus. New school bus. And so it's cool, it's a cool car. My uplines, this is my parents. I was able to bring them to Manila to visit, and my father's 82 years old, and I'm 78, and I like this quote very much. The best way to teach your children is to love your spouse. And they have been great examples of loving spouse. You know, they stood by each other ever since. And I realized that in business, in Houston, standing by each other as a team is a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful thing. Standing by together. And the Synergy team is a wonderful team. I see teamwork, I see passion, I see contribution, I see giving. This is really what you like to work with, isn't it? I mean, when you in work, I mean, think about it for a second. How many positions are there above you? How many people are fighting for that position? A lot of them. And sometimes you have to do certain things to get up there sometimes. And when I joined Newskin, there was a paradigm shift. I realized in order to succeed, you have to help people succeed first before you succeed. So I thought this is just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Total paradigm shift. You know, this is a simple dream. People ask me what's my dream. My dream is very simple. I just have breakfast with my father, you know, my parents. Simple as that. But sometimes simple things aren't easy to do, is it? And it is not. It is not. You know, when I joined, I was 32. My father was about 70. And I realized that if I wait until retire to have breakfast with him, I probably couldn't. I couldn't. So I had to run fast. I had to focus. I had to succeed faster because they don't have that time as much as we have this time. So that's something that, you know, I hold very, very dear. And there's one time my father, he's a USM lecturer, he's a lecturer in the university, and he's a PhD. And I asked him one day, because he didn't understand what I was doing in music, and I asked him, what do you think I do music for? Oh, you know, money, you know. So I said, no, Father, every time I take you to your colleagues to have, or old buddies to have lunch or dinner or breakfast, you know, I ask him, I say, Father, where are all the other kids? Where are all the other children? How come I'm the only child with you? My father says, well, they're all working. I say, Dad, that's the point I do music. That's the point I do music. So I think that that's precious. I think they've given us so much in their life. Haven't they sacrificed a lot? I think we need to run faster. Because, you know, they don't understand. If you're working in Motorola, they don't understand. I know that. Because when I work late in Motorola, I come back, there's food on the table, right? And they ask, wow, you're working hard today. Yes, I think I'm working hard. When I started doing music and I came back at 6:30, they say, what? No work to do? So they're accustomed to traditional work, isn't it? They're accustomed to this thing. Okay? So it takes a while for them to understand what network marketing is. But know in your heart that network marketing is for you to spend more time with them. And it takes some time for them to understand this. It does. But they will understand this. They will understand this totally. Okay? So, focus, work hard, and they will understand. These are some of the trips that I've been to and what Nu Skin has provided. This is a team-building trip. And one of the first ones I've attended was the Baltic Cruise. And we got to go to places that really, we probably would never dream of going. This is the Blue Hall where Nobel Prize winners, when they win the award, they get to have dinner in that hall, Nobel Prize winners. So I felt like I won a Nobel Prize. My wife was ecstatic about that because, she's a chemical engineer and I think there's a lot of chemical, chemistry scientists who've been through those walls. It meant a lot to her. What meant a lot to me was a limousine. It's a limousine! It's a little stretch and all! My wife says, it's just a car. Limousine! So some people have different things, isn't it, that they like, So that was exciting. Went to Las Vegas and this is a ship. So that's one of the trips. Not many pictures, a couple of years ago. This is another team trip that we went. This is in New York. And my daughter got to go. Now she's very excited to go on this trip. She kept asking me, have we qualified yet? Have we qualified yet? I said, we haven't. I need some help. What do you need some help with? So, I need some customers. And she said, okay, I'll help you. So what do you need to do? I need to find some people who are slightly overweight. You mean fat people? No, you can't say that. You can't say that. So I'm going to have to find some people who are slightly overweight. And so I told her some ways on how to do this. And one day when I was talking to a prospect in Starbucks, she runs over and says, hey, I got a prospect for you. I said, how did you do that? I said, of course she didn't say, I think you're fat. No, I taught her the right way. She said, yeah, I did what you said. I said, she saw a person. She said, you look great. The guy says, no, I'm young and fat. Don't worry, my dad will help you. so she got a prospect. When she's 11 years old. Now she's 11 years old. If she can do this, can you do this? Can you compliment people? Yes, you can, right? Compliment people, right? Compliment people, yeah? And people will of course deny things, and of course they say, hey, you know what? I've got a solution for you. And we're working with a New York listed company, and we have a genetic solution that was featured in Discovery Channel. Would you like to take a look? Okay? So that's her. And one of the things about Nu Skin was that it was a global business. To my wife, it was very important it was a global business. And this was one of the trips. After the Baltic Cruise, we went to Copenhagen, and this is Nu Skin in Copenhagen, okay? And it was cool. So my wife says, let's test the system out. What do you mean test the system out? Let's go buy something. So you buy something, you give your ID number, isn't it? You buy an ID number, and our name came up, and we bought something. He said, see, the system works. This is a global business. I can do my business in 53 countries. So my wife is a chemical engineer. She needed proof. So in that purchase, showed her that Nu Skin business is a global business. Okay? But you don't have to do that. You don't have to go to Copenhagen to do that. I've done it for you, so it works. Okay? I've spent 80% of my time in Penang, small tiny island in Indonesia. And how many of you been to Penang? Oh, alright, cool. Okay. And I spent 80% of my time there, but 50% of my income comes from 13 countries that I don't go to do business in. Is that cool? Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. And to be able to, because sometimes when you look at things, if your business is in different markets, isn't it cool that if the market wasn't doing too well, that your network is spread to other networks, to other economies? So it's kind of like diversification as well, isn't it? Right? So that's a huge opportunity to grow a business, I also say insurance industry in Malaysia is big, but they're fighting against 30 million population. But when I tell them about Nu Skin, I say that our market share is like 2.5 billion people worldwide, because we have a greater market share because Nu Skin is global and seamless. That's really something that's very, very powerful. I give Nu Skin a round of applause. So one of her things that she really is happy with is through Nu Skin, she's able to take her parents to visit all over the world. Sometimes as engineers we can travel, we can go to different places, and but sometimes it's not easy to bring your parents around, isn't it? Because it's not cheap, isn't it, to bring parents around? And with Nu Skin we can do this. And I wish you could do that because the world is huge. The world is huge. And our parents work so hard, they only see the neighborhood. And so let's show them the world. Let's show them the world. And in this year, you guys have an opportunity to take your parents to an amazing, amazing holiday. Is that right? We'll talk about that a bit later. So that's an opportunity. Now, this is not a typical holiday. A lot of people, would take holidays to Universal Studios and beautiful places like that. This is a place. This is the Siem Reap in Cambodia. And this is a trip that we took, and that's my mother-in-law, and that's Casey right there. That's in pink, my daughter. This is a place to let her see a school. To see a school that has no cement flooring. To see a school that has no lights, or to see a school where children don't wear clothes. And I think this is a perfect holiday to see how the world really is. And we have that flexibility in this business to do this. Because sometimes when you're working, you really want to cherish the amount of money that you make, isn't it? And take them to a beautiful place, right? Because that's how much money you make, because you don't make a lot of it. But with Nu Skin opportunity, this allows me to choose which holidays and what places I want my kids to see. So that's something that Nu Skin offers. And sometimes when I was working model, I probably would never do this. This is another trip. This is Jehan. It was about last year, November, December, we did that. And Jehan was only 5 months old at that time. So I realized that it's never too young to start a dream, to see a world, and it's never probably too old to start one as well. And that at any change in Nu Skin, it's always a potential. You might not be very successful, but nonetheless you'll be creating passive income for your future. So that's an opportunity to look at. Last year I went to a team-lead cruise as well. This is a cruise in the Mediterranean, and we started in Venice to Dubrovnik to Santorini to the Daci and Istanbul, with my dad there for a trip. And this was a cool trip for me to be with my father and show him around. Never been on a cruise before. And but my father took me on a cruise to a trip before. My father took me to Venice when I was 7 years old. And this is a picture that we had in Venice along this bridge, and that's me, 7 years old, my dad. And 37 years later, I brought my father to the exact same spot to take that picture. He took me around the world not knowing that what repercussions it would make. But I realized that he did it for a good reason. He showed me that the world was big. He showed me that there's many places we can go. He showed me how to dream big. He showed me that there's many cultures, there's many different types of people. And that kind of gave me a different perspective about life. And that it is possible. So, really Nu Skin really gives you that potential, that ability to stretch yourself, to go to places you haven't been before, so that the next generation can now see even further than what you have seen, than what you've seen. Do you want your children to see further? Because you have to take that first step. You have to take that first step. I went again to another trip. This is a trip where I went with my daughter to Istanbul. Okay? And so these are trips as well. Of course, this is a trip where we took a picture. There was 1,900 people in this trip. That's not 1,900 people forming a star. They took a crane to take this picture. And it probably was the largest contingent of visitors coming into Istanbul ever. The first one was some alien, some country attacking Istanbul. And I was really impressed because when we went to the airport actually had, welcome Nu Skin. At the airport, welcome Nu Skin. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And so those are the things that we do. Oh, cool, look at this. So you saw the video just now for that trip, isn't it? So I went on that trip, as you can see in the video. I went on that trip. Nu Skin offered a couple of leaders this trip to go to audit, to take a look at this place, and to go on the sites to see to check it out. So I went there and I did a good job. I audited for all you guys. I said, So make sure it's first class all the way because you guys are demanding a lot, you know what I'm saying? You want nothing but the best, is that right? And Nu Skin does, they don't discount anything. It was really the best. The setup, the execution, the people, I mean it's just amazing, it's just amazing. So a little bit about the trip. So it's one class, the ship is not on the sea yet. It's the first time the ship will ever be used. Nu Skin chartered the entire ship, 3,000 people. Entire ship, you guys, the pillow hasn't even been slept on yet. The bed sheet hasn't been used yet. The toilet flush, I don't know, they may have tested it, but they haven't tested it, so that's not finished. So they're Belgium and England and France. So there's many pictures, but I just want to show you just a few, maybe just one picture. And this is the Stonehenge. It's a dream place. I've always wanted to go, but never really wanted to go because it's somewhere there, somewhere out there. It's just an amazing place. And it's amazing because that's even older than the Great Wall of China. And it's just beautiful. It is about to be 100 meters away from a real highway, from a road. And they're trying to keep the place there. You can't even touch it. Can't touch it. But I have a video on this I made. You can watch it on YouTube. So the question really is, if that lasted 5,000 years, will your job last 5,000 years? Probably not. Will what you do last 5,000 years, or will what you do last for the next generation? So my question really is, find something that when you build it will outlast you. Outlast you. Find something that you can build that will outlast you. So it's just not passive income. Build an organization that will outlast you. What I'm really saying is, find a business, build a legacy. Build a legacy. Build a legacy that represents you and your decision. That's what you will be able to do in this. Because 50 generations below you will say, thank goodness that that guy one day said yes. Because if he didn't say yes, I probably wouldn't be here too. Find something that you can build that will outlast you, offer people an inspiration. This picture is not easy to take. As you can see, it's a selfie. And my wife was very, very detailed. She's a detailed type. She says, in order to prove that we are in London, we have to take a picture with Big Ben and the double-decker bus at the same time. So, I was waiting there for a long time. Come on! Where's the bus? And the bus going home, it came. So really, timing is everything. Timing is everything. Sometimes you ask, where is the opportunity? It's today. It's today. It's today. That opportunity is today. And you've been waiting for a long time for the selfie. And it's today. It's a selfie today. Take a picture today because it'll probably be very memorable today. You say, you know what? A couple of generations below you, it was that day when I made that decision. It was that day when I made that decision that changed your life. And maybe that day is today. Make it that day today for you. Make that day today for you. As you can see, I'm a fan of Batman. Any fans of Batman? Oh, you're my best friend. So, I say be Batman. It doesn't matter what superhero you are. I say be a superhero for somebody else. That's why I say be a superhero. Find somebody that you admire. Be that superhero for that other people. Because we need superheroes. We need people to inspire other people. We need people to stand for maybe justice. What kind of justice? Not employment justice. We need people to take a stand, to take that first step up front. So just now when you came in, even if you stood here, even if you said one sentence, even if you said one name, to me you're a superhero in my books. Because when you stand up, it tells me, and it's sitting there looking at you, that's courage. People taking the step. And don't worry if you have nothing to say, because T. Harv Eker said this, he says every master was first a disaster before they did anything, isn't it? And I stood that stage also, So today I want to be a superhero. Would you want to be a superhero? Yeah, be a superhero for somebody else, Really is. Because Nu Skin is really a place where superheroes are born. From ordinary people to extraordinary. Because Nu Skin is an extraordinary platform for you. Okay, so it always seems impossible until it is done, is that right? But then again, you sing out there, say, yeah, but you started 12 years ago, but yeah, you say a bunch of things. But it always seems impossible until it is done. That's my superhero right there. Can you imagine he was in jail for so many years and came out to be president of South America? Think about that. So I'll show you some examples. This is part of my team in Penang, right? So leadership is when you fight not only for your dreams but for others. That's what teamwork is about. I think that's very important. You're surrounded by great leaders here today, and I feel very touched and privileged to be part of you guys because it rubs off. It's contagious. It's contagious. Leadership is contagious. And I think that sometimes you are here not because of the team. You're here because you are making the team. You're here for the team. Sometimes we always say the team is for you. No, you're here for the team. You're here to make your team stand out. This is a team. They were going to a Singapore convention and they were taking a flight back to Penang. And they just, I love this picture very much because everybody's character shows up here. So I tell you a bit about some leaders in my organization to tell you about their stories. So this is my sister. They're my brother-in-law. They're architects. They actually were the first 4-star creators that went on a US convention a couple of years back. I sponsored my sister from internet. And she said, that's my younger brother, so who's going to support him? Okay, I'll support him, okay? But when I first went there and I used my kit to show her the demonstration for skincare, she was looking at my mother and my mother was looking at her and saying, what's wrong with Willie? He's an engineer, what's he doing? Okay, so she saw the opportunity and she also quit in about 6 months, I believe, to do this newspaper full-time. And today, both of them, they're architects, they're both doing newspaper full-time in this business. It's just amazing. They're a large organization and touching a lot of people's lives. She's a trainer. She trains a lot of people, even here as well. This is another leader, one of my Blue Diamonds. She's Jasmine. She's worked together with me as a colleague in Motorola. I never really talked to her when she was Motorola. Until she left Motorola, she went to open her own kindergarten. She bought a UK franchise called Tumblecots. Have you heard of Tumblecots before? It's a UK franchise, so she bought it. She realized she's a very happening person. She loves to go out, loves life, she likes to do charity, she likes meditation, and all that kind of stuff. But she realizes a lot of things that she wants to do happens on the weekends. But what's the most busiest time for Tumblecots? Weekends. So she's looking for another way to live her life. So we met. Actually, she came to me for the opportunity. I did talk to her first time, but she looked at the prices and bought the cheapest thing there at that time. But then after a few years, she decided to come back and look at this opportunity. She's a Blue Diamond. She goes to India to meditate for 1 month, and the organization continues to grow without her being there. And that's an example of lifestyle capacity. This is a person I'm very, very proud of. She came into this business because Jasmine met her at a party. And she complained about migraines and ulcers. Now, we have ulcers, but she has chronic ulcer. A chronic ulcer is an ulcer that lasts the whole year round, isn't it? So she has ulcers. So she took Lifepack and G3. And her ulcers and migraine went away. So from a very negative person, because of migraines, you don't go out because of sun migraines and hot migraines. And she, to becoming a very positive person. Because all those things disappeared. And her friends were so amazed. She would go from mainland, drive about 30 minutes to town to go to listen to a talk, training museum. She was amazed by her. Why would she do that? Total transformation. And because of her energy and positivity, she attracted business to people to her. She became a Blue Diamond. She actually she left Intel as a purchaser, and then she went to buy a smart meter and also a franchise smart meter kindergarten. And she found out that doing newskin part-time made more money than a franchise did. So she sold that out and was newskin full-time as well. This is one of her best friends, that's Yvonne's best friend. She too owned a smart meter. In fact, her smart meter was a top-performing smart meter in North Malaysia. But she realized that when her kid was older, her kid would go study, but she wanted to follow her. And she went to Genting, I'm sure I mentioned some of this, she saw newskin and realized there was a global potential. And that's why she went and sold up her franchise to do newskin full-time. This is a director, financial director for a multinational company, an accountant. Then too, one of the stories about him was that, he loves his kid very much, the youngest one. So every day he would take the youngest kid to kindergarten. But one day this kid, don't know why, would crying. But he had a meeting, 8 o'clock, but the kid was crying. He couldn't stop the kid, crying. So what he did, he did it, he said, open the door, push the kid out, close the door, and drove off. And the kid was crying in the pavement. He went to work thinking about this and said, what kind of dad am I? What kind of dad am I? Because of a meeting, what kind of dad am I? And that really prompted him to take a look and revisit what was important in his life. And from that, he decided, I want to change, I want to do spend more time with my kids. He's one of the diamond executives. This is Angie. Angie's a diamond executive. Angie's a very hardworking, she's a pharmaceutical rep, and under her there are like 200 other doctors that she signed up, either to be TR90 or TRA in this program. And she's a large organization, a very young group of people, and working very, very hard for this business. This is Jack. Some of you met Jack before, yeah? Jack. Okay, so this is Jack. And this is Jack's downline, Chin Hui. Chin Hui is a VP of Finance, Vice President of Finance for a listed company in Malaysia. And after doing 1 year transforming himself, he decided to go full time. He said, why? He says, Willing, I'm an accountant, I can calculate things. I look at the balance books every day, and I realize that the company really underpaid me. What do you mean? You're VP. Yes, I'm underpaid. Why? Because as a company, the company will always want to maximize profits, yes? And minimize costs, yes? And where do you think my salary is? In costs. So within a year, he decided full time. He's a diamond executive in this is another diamond. They are. She has another baby. She's wanted to be a full-time mother, and through music she was able to do that. Okay. This is a doctor and his wife Christine. They actually won the trip to Hawaii. And he's a doctor. He was very healthy. He cycles. He doesn't cycle on weekends. I mean, he cycles from Penang, like 200 kilometers away to someplace. And this is like really, cycling. And even cycling, he has high visceral fat. He doesn't have a belly, but he has high visceral fat. He didn't want to stand on an Omron scale because he thought he was perfect. When he stood on the Omron scale, he realized, oh my God, my muscle is high, my muscle is low, my fat is high, my visceral fat is high. No wonder I have high blood pressure. So he went on TRA at that time, and his high blood pressure went away. He now has 6 packs, and he went to the business. So these are the type of people who come into the business, for different reasons that they come into. And every one of them transforms life. I was at the US convention, the previous ones, and I realized that everybody I talked to had a story. Everybody has a story. Why they got started. And they're all inspiring. Everybody has a turning point. So everybody started with a story. Do you have a story? Yes, you have a story. And everybody started from zero. Everybody started from zero. Nobody came to the business and had lots of executives. Everybody started from zero. Everybody started from zero, just like you. Everybody starts from zero. Everybody worked hard. There's no shortcuts. Everybody worked hard. I'm showing you this picture because we all went through the same journey. We all went through it, and you will go through the same journey as you worked hard. And everybody persisted. And everybody persisted. And everybody persisted. And everybody succeeded. And everybody succeeded. Right? Is that cool? Cool. If you have a story, if you work hard, and you persist, and you will succeed. And you will succeed. So, to the end, how many of you like to win? I mean, how do you really want to win? Okay, how about win big? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to win. How many of you like to play dice? Just one. So, how do you win in this business? Okay, how do you win in business? Very simple. This is what you do. If you throw the dice, and the dice hits 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you lose nothing. Is that okay? But if you throw the dice and you get 6, you win big. Is that okay? Would you want to play? throw the dice and 1. Oh, that's okay. Take it up, you throw it again. 6. Oh, I won. Good. And you throw it again. 3. It's okay, you didn't lose anything. So how do you win this game? How do you win this game? Keep throwing the dice. If you keep throwing the dice, you win, isn't it? As in Nu Skin business, there's no loss. You only throw and you find 6. And 6 you win big. And what do you win? You win this. You win this. It's called Type 5 life. Type 5 life. Type 5 is not just having health, having youth, having time, having freedom, and being happy. It's having all the 5 things at the same time. At the same time. Find me a business, find me a career, find me something that will give you all this at the same time. I've been looking for 12 years, I couldn't find it. But you find it here in Nu Skin. Nu Skin gives you a Type 5 life. Who wants a Type 5 life? Throw the dice, don't stop throwing it until you get this at the same time. So, Jack Ma, we talked about Jack Ma just now. So I reference myself to what he says, and after all the things that we shared, sometimes people still they lose out on the opportunity because they still can't see it. Okay? My friend tried to show me it, I can't see it. Do you see it? Yes. And also, I, at 32, didn't want to do it because I looked down on it because it was unprofessional. I looked down on this industry because I thought I could make more. I thought I was happy. But it was an illusion of happiness, really. It was an illusion of happiness. And then I didn't understand it. I didn't understand because I never went to a presentation. I just assumed certain things. And of course, sometimes people are too slow to react. Too slow to react. And when they're too slow to react, sometimes opportunities pass. Sometimes you regret. Now, I don't wish for you to regret. Things that you could do now, that you can do now. You know, some things, if you don't do them now, you will never get to do them again. Sometimes time passes very, very fast. You know? So, grab it when you see it. Grab it when you see it. And why is it important to grab it when you see it? Because something's happening in September, isn't it? This is a large model of age-lock lifespan or youth span, and it is probably the next big thing that's happening in Nu Skin. It probably will be $1 billion launch product. It is something big that you probably can't ignore. And for you to win this trip in Europe, you need to learn how to leverage this launch in September. Okay? And you want to be a pioneer. Because why is it a pioneer? Because I haven't even touched the product myself. I will be able to touch the product at the same time you touch the product in September as well. So I'm going to be beginning the same business with you at the same time. So I thought this is a pioneering opportunity for everybody to take part in. Would you like that? Yes. Now, go out and tell people about this because I'm guaranteeing you nobody else knows about this at this point in time. This product will delay the mechanisms of aging. There's no product out there that does that right now. And we do it because we have age-locked with age-locked science. There's my son. And this is one of the mornings that he woke up, that I had no choice but to wake up. And at that time the light was very nice, and morning light. There was a couch. And I remember this quote from a good friend in Singapore. He says, change when you see the light, not when you feel the heat. Sometimes when the heat comes, you become desperate. Change when you see the light. The lights are very bright today. And so do Nu Skin when you don't need to do it. Because that's an opportunity. That's an opportunity now. If you see an opportunity now, grab it. Grab it. Okay? I love my wife very much. And we travel the world together in this business. And we make sure that wow. Beautiful place. Beautiful place. In fact, that time when we were there, Casey was saying, you know, I saw some magazine someplace about this place called Chocolate Hills. And I don't know where it is. I want to go. And when we were there, we were like, well, that's it, that is place. So visualize your success before it happens. You know, it comes true. And But sometimes it takes effort. It takes effort. Sometimes I have to come down lower, and sometimes she has to reach higher. But we have to put in effort as well because we don't take things for granted, isn't it? So we make sure we are consistent in what we do. Very important in this business. Very important in this business. And even Nu Skin saw this picture. I was in the picture. I put this on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So everyone else is consistent. So this is us when we first started this business. 2 regular engineers, 32 years old. My parents are here, even around the world. So when you make a decision, your life will change. And this is a decision we make 7 years later. You change, And I don't know what kind of change you want, really. But it may look younger. You may have more energy. You may stand more confidently. You will lead a team. You will be on stage. You will take the first step. You will lead by example. That's what leadership is about. That's what this business will give you that platform to do. A couple of years later, Jay is a bit older. Remember that trip? You look great. And then this is 2013 when we were awarded a $1 million circle member. And this is recently when Casey gave birth, so we went to a trip. So I'm going to look at this business that it really, time stands still. Time stands still. And this is a business where in Motorola, I couldn't buy back the time I gave. There was no avenue to buy back that time. In Nu Skin, if you stay the same, you earn that time back. And that's what Nu Skin does. Nu Skin gives you that time so that you can exercise it, so that you can experience it, experience life to the fullest. How many of you want to live life to the max? Okay, that's what Nu Skin does, live life to the max. Yes. So I'll leave you with this quote. This was a quote I said, reminded by it, because sometimes we do Nu Skin. And why do we do Nu Skin? Do Nu Skin to be the best of you, because in doing Nu Skin you become healthier, you become younger, you become stronger, you become more confident. And who benefits from that? Your family does. Your family does. So do Nu Skin for the best of you, for your family. Don't take chances on them. You need to do it because you need to stick around long enough to make sure they succeed. So do Nu Skin for them. And I'm often, I like books, and I realize that, when your children read a story, they will know it's better than any fairy tale because your story is real. It is real. I hope that you got some value from my sharing. I hope that you guys are all going to be superheroes for someone else. And that you guys here come on stage and lead other people to become successful yourself. I have one last thing to say, and it is kapatid sama-sama kaya-kaya.
Nice that you feel like there's more to your channel. We have heard a lot of speakers, but truly I think Willing was one of the most inspirational ones we've heard as of now. Do you guys agree?
Yes.